Hey, it's Jack with our first ever statewide, Massachusetts statewide real estate market update. And this is a totally new thing that we've never done before. I'm going to do this every single month, like we have been doing the Plymouth market updates for quite some time. Now we're doing it statewide. And so can help my agents and our buyers and our clients and our sellers all over the state to get a better perspective of what's going on with the housing market. Our report is going to be focused on single family homes on a monthly basis. Let's take a look at what happened in August in the Massachusetts housing market. Now let's first take a look at sales. Sales have evened off a little bit over the last 2 months at 5,500 for both August and July. Hit a peak of just over 6,000 for June. And we'll see, obviously this trend line was moving up, and now it's kind of eased off a little bit. So we'll see what September brings. That would be really interesting to see what, because right now we're kind of level for 2 months in a row, almost the exact number of sales off, 55 and change, off by like 10 or 15, almost the exact same amount for both months. So we're going to see where that trend line goes for September. It'll be really interesting, but that definitely indicates some very minor I don't want to even say the word slowdown, very minor tempering of the upswing that we had been seeing. That's a good way to think about it. Let's take a look at what's on the market. 4,400, 4,447, 4,400 single family homes were on the market September 1st statewide in Massachusetts. Now, the good news is for buyers is that this number has actually gone up since then. And this is September 10th. I'm making this video. So this number's actually kind of crept up to 5,100 in the last 10 days. So a little movement there. More houses in the market than there were even in the beginning of the month. Just to give you a little perspective, however, if we were to go back to 2019, September of 2019, how many houses were on the market then? About 11,000 houses on the market back then. So we're like half of where we were at in September of 2019. And even then, that number was low. And remember, we're looking at single family homes throughout Massachusetts. So the average price of a single family home in Massachusetts in August was, the number is so big, it's hard to read, $689,940. Wow. Call it 690. And that's just down just a touch over the summer peak. That's a big number. Obviously, you can see maybe the market may be just starting to modulate or level out, I should say, just a touch. But certainly it's up from the $600,000 range, which was back here for most of the early part of this year and the latter part of last year. So 690, yeah, whew. It will be very interesting to see where that number goes in the future. But it's still a seller's market. Don't get any of this mistaken in my tone here. I think we're seeing just the slightest moderation in the market, but it's still a very strong seller's market, as is evidenced by the fact that sellers are getting 103% of their list price. So let's just do this simple. We'll do simple math here. If you're selling your house for $100,000, it means you're getting $103,000 for the property. People are bidding the property up above list, which is something buyers, have a tough time wrapping their heads around, that the list price is just the starting point. And that's a better way to think about it. It's just the opening bid. Yeah, I think that's the best way to think about it. You see a lot of buyers out there, they want to buy a house at the $500,000 level. And so they're looking at that price tag where they really should be looking at, say, the 450 or the 475 level, because those houses are going to be bid up to 500. See, if you use that strategy and you understand the game, you're much better or more likely to actually come out with the winning bid. So understanding that the list price is the opening, and if you're looking at 500, you need to start to look at, or your 500 is kind of your max, you really need to start to be looking at houses listed at 450, 460-ish in order to make that happen for you. Houses are still flying off the shelves. However, we see a slight, again, I don't even want to call it a trend, but just a slight indication that the market might be taking just a deep breath for a minute here. And this number went up just a teeny bit to 15 days to offer. So what does that mean, Jack? That means that if you put your house in the market on the first of the month, on average, you're going to be accepting an offer by the 15th of the month. In other words, it takes about 2 weeks to get an accepted offer. This is also what we're looking at in Plymouth here, where I do a lot of my business, but my agents are statewide, of course. And 15 days, that's really quick. There are some places where, you're selling it in 7 days and others where it's going to be 30 days. In fact, talking about 30 days is where we were back in the winter time, which would be, kind of common to have a slower market during the holidays, a slower market during January, February, snowstorms and all that stuff. But 15 days, that's very quick, which again means to buyers, they've got to go out there and see those properties, hit those open houses, and make that offer very, very quickly. I would say that what you would think that the lowest number on this would be like 1 day, right? With the data offer 1 day. I think just from a practicality point of view, I think the lowest practical reading on this is probably like you could put a house in the market and get a couple of offers, talk it over with the seller, and maybe you do another round of offers to get to the highest and best. I don't really think you can get that number below 4, really. So yeah, you could on a select basis, but on a big statewide basis, that number is really never going to fall to anything lower than 4. That would be the rock bottom, I think. So we're very close to that. Houses they're flying off the shelves. So in this video, bottom line, again, strong sellers market. Strong sellers market. Buyers, do they have any hope? No, but you just start to see, well, I suppose there's always hope, right? There's always hope. But you just do start to see just the teeniest bit of headwind for sellers, but it's definitely not a trend yet, and it's still a seller's market. Hey, I'm Jack Gately for Jack Gately Real Estate. See you next month. Bye-bye.